Hello, everyone. My name is Gregory Q. Jenkins. I'm the founder and CEO of Quintasia Studios, and this is the Quintasia Podcast. Now, as those of you who have watched and or listened to our shows know, what we'll do from time to time is we not only promote our content, but from time to time we come across content that we think that our audience should know about. Well, today is such a case, and I am happy that we have with us today Aaron Avont Johnson, who is the series creator of Predestined. And also with us are two members of the cast, Ms. Shantrell Robinson and Shalisha Sheridan, who will be joining us today to talk about their show, Predestined. So welcome, guys, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
It's as I said at the top, it's great to come across content. It's great to see other people out there trying to, having an idea, not waiting for someone to come along and, buy it or do something, and doing something with it themselves. So I definitely, I'm a kindred spirit with you guys, and congrats on the first season of Predestined. So let me start with you, Aaron, and why don't you tell our audience a little bit about your show?
Right. Well, thank you so much for having me. Predestined is a passion project of mine. So Predestined is a urban musical series about a preacher's kid turned R&B star whose life gets flips upside down when her mom dies and leaves her the church. It is a very, very interesting story. It's a musical. We was crazy enough to shoot it during COVID. Don't ask us why we did. We just did. I don't know. But it came out great. The music is awesome. And it's a really dope show, if I must say so myself. So yeah, that was pretty much about Predestined.
So let me toss this question out to everyone. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this during the interview. But how has it, or how was it being a part of this this project, or how has this project changed your life?
I'll let y'all take it first.
Shalisha, you're welcome to go.
Me?
Yeah, we'll start with you, Shalisha.
Okay. Well, one of the ways I can definitely say that this project has impacted my life is I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, so it's a small town. Everybody knows somebody know you. So when I had posted about Predestined, everybody was just going crazy, like, "Oh man, this looks really really good, Shalisha, you're on your way." It really made me proud, and it made a lot of people back home proud. Like, it's not like we're on Hollywood yet, but everyone was just so excited to see it because it looked so good. The plot was amazing. The music was really really good. So if anything, if I'm just putting it plain, it just kind of gave me like just hometown cred in a sense. So no, yeah, it's really been a great time.
I like that. Hometown cred. Yes. Chantel, how about you?
Yes, I think for me, Predestined has definitely put me back on my path. I kind of lost sight of what I wanted to do, of myself, of my passion, a year and a half before the project was brought to me. And I was like, I'm done with acting. I'm done with singing. I'm done with dancing. I don't want to perform anymore. And Aaron was like, give this project a shot. And it was the first thing that I did since I came back from college. I decided college wasn't for me. I was like, I don't know what I want to do. Aaron brought this to me. I'm like, let me give this another shot. And I did. And not only has this project reminded me about my passion of acting and just performing in general, but it's sparked my interest in music, which is, a lot of the reason why I'm pursuing music outside of this project on my own and doing my own projects as well. So I think that it just kind of reminded me what I'm supposed to be doing, and it kind of brought that passion back to me.
And we'll end up with you, Aaron. How, major hats off to you to being able to, pull together this production. When you sit back now and you look on, what you and your team were able to accomplish, um, how has this experience changed you?
Oh, it changed me a lot. I'll say one of the biggest changes for me is I believe even the process of trying to put this project on was very, 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 very different. Because pre-COVID, the way you do a film is completely different than how you had to do it during COVID, which was very interesting. But honestly, this project it made me feel good because I was able to involve a lot of my friends and family and really tell a story that I know all too well. And like shoes, I understand. So this story was one of those stories where it was just like it was good to do. It was more so like a passion project for me. And then also I was able to get my mom and bring her group back in it, work with my brother who did all the music, and work with great people like Shantrell and Shalisha, who are super talented, super dope, I must say. And it made me feel really, really good about the whole overall thing. But definitely I've learned a lot on the production and as far as putting on this project during like one of the most craziest times in our whole history. So yeah.
Do you think that you could have learned everything that you have learned during this, this past year without, without ever having done this, trying to do this project? Or are there definitely things you were exposed to that you probably wouldn't have if you didn't do this project?
I would say I would have learned it eventually, but I'm glad I learned it now. I'm glad I learned it earlier, and especially during a time where a lot of things were shut down, honestly, and not even just production wise, even network wise. I'm talking about like major networks and major studios because what a lot of people don't know is that I've been working hand in hand with a lot of networks and a lot of studios, trying to get content through the door. And we had a lot of meetings set up, a lot of things to do. And then when COVID happened, it was just like, okay, everybody be putting a stop to everything because don't nobody know when they're going back to work. So Hollywood didn't know when he was going back to work. Networks and literally, I'll say the first mainstream person that went back to work was like Tyler Perry on his show. But that was because he had to spend over 20 something million dollars just for like COVID safety alone, like on his, that was just for COVID safety. They ain't talk about the budget of the show. And even that came like later on in the year. So we was like, well, we is not going to go through this whole year and not do nothing. Like on the business side, we had a lot of things with networks and we was just like, okay, well, that has been put to a hold now. So what we going to do? Let's do a show on our own. Let's put something together on our own. Let's do a passion project. And that's what we did. So yeah.
Well, let me ask this question of everyone. So what, I mean, okay, we know that there was COVID, but just on a personal turn, because I imagine a lot of times that there's always some sort of challenge that you have in doing this. So, Chantal, I'll start with you. What was the biggest challenge that you had to overcome during this project?
I think for me, the biggest challenge was just taking on the character in the role of Talia. I mean, she's a really heavy character in the show. She goes through a lot of ups and downs, to say the least. And I feel like kind of getting myself to a point where I can relate to this character, I can portray this character, I can understand this character, really breaking down the character. I mean, Aaron and I spent so many nights just dissecting the character on our own, just so I can get an idea of how did you feel when you wrote this scene? What did you envision for Talia when you wrote this, this scene? And embodying that was a huge challenge for me. Even when I was acting in theater prior to me giving up a year and a half ago, I never played a role that was dramatic. I always played the easy comedy, laughter, light, fun. And Talia is like a whole nother type of character. She definitely is heavy. So I think taking on the role itself was a huge challenge for me. And I'm happy that I took on the challenge because Talia is great and the show has come together so well. But that was definitely a challenge and intimidating.
Okay. How about you, Shalisha? What was your biggest challenge?
I definitely have to piggyback off of Chantrell. It was all character for me. especially with me having such a raw, heavy scenes, I had to really do research and see, how do people feel when they go through these certain things? What are usually the aftermath of people's mental when these things do happen?
Mhm.
Like how do they process it? And then just Jessica just being who she is alone, besides what she went through. She was really a character that I run into, that I sometimes become sometimes. Just that person that's always carrying everybody else's burden and just completely forgetting about mine. So when things hit the fan, they really hit the fan. So it was really more so just breaking down the characters and really getting to it for me. That was a challenge for sure.
Well, I'm going to take a brief pause here for those who may have joined our podcast but didn't join at the top. This is the Quintasia podcast, and today we are speaking with the series creator and some of the cast members of the show Predestined. So, Aaron, um,
Sir.
musical. So
Mhm.
you felt like you didn't have enough of a challenge trying to just put on a regular show, but you said, you know what, I'm gonna have a musical too, and you know what, I'm gonna put some original music in it on top of it. Why did you decide to do a musical?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't even remember how the musical came about. Because Predestined didn't start out as a musical, actually. It started out just as a regular story. And I think the more me and Dontrell talked about the show, I think we just gradually fell over to the musical side, which is like, what this would be dope to do a musical. So they was like, this would be dope to do a musical. Let's do a musical. And then too, I think I felt really good about doing it because my brother, he's like such a dope songwriter, vocal producer, and that whole thing, that I knew that if we was to turn this into a musical, he would hands down have some music that just slaps. And then same thing with my mom, because my mom, she has a lot of music that's in the show as well. Fun fact, this is a fun fact I like to tell. When people watch the show and when you all listen to the choir songs, fun fact, I was probably showing everything. It may sound like a whole choir, but it was only like what, Charlie, like what, six of us in there, six, seven of us in there recording all those backgrounds. And that was even another thing that was part of pre-production, was even the studio time, because before we got on set, we had to have a lot of the music done. So we was in the studio about every single week with our makeshift choir, singing the songs and everything like that. But all in all, it turned out to be a really good decision, and I think the musical aspect just adds a different element to the show. I hear a lot of people say, I'm not gonna spoil it for the people that haven't watched it yet, but there's a scene that happens on the rooftop. That's all I'm gonna say. I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, that scene is just crazy." It's crazy because the music, like that whole, it's a whole musical part that happens there that just takes that scene up to a whole nother level. So I was just saying, it really brings another element to it. So I'm glad we did it.
It is amazing, and just to go back to something you said, I'm going to show my age here a little bit. So for those who of the audience members that y'all went to church, and y'all might be familiar with the Richard Smallwood singers,
Oh,
if
come
you
on
remember.
now. Come on now. I know Richard. I know
I,
Dr. Richard.
I'm going to preach a little bit here now. So the Richard Smallwood singers. Now, I remember the first time I heard them, I thought there was like 20 of them or something like that. And
Right.
then you see the album cover. It's a small group. It's a very
Yeah.
small group. So I can
Right.
I can definitely thank goodness for the wonders of modern technology. But I think the way you interwove music into it, and it's fantastic. And again, I encourage everybody in the audience to go see it. It's Predestined. Now, Shantrell, one of the advantages of having a show like this is that you put a certain amount of promo material out there, and I happened to catch one of the promos that you did, and you were talking about your singing, and how you didn't feel confident in your singing. So I imagine that has changed for you now. How has the show helped you get more comfortable?
Great question. Doing your research there, I see.
Okay.
So before Predestined, I used to do theater on stage. It's a lot of singing. It's actually singing, acting, and dancing all combined into one. Played a lot of lead roles on stage, and I was never confident with my singing. I never felt 100%. And prior to that, I was never like, I actually want to be an artist. I actually want to make my own music, but I did write. I used to write and journal a lot, but I never thought I would actually record any of this stuff or anybody would ever hear it. And then doing Predestined, I was in a lot of the music. So it kind of showed me, you're capable of this. You're the reason why you're not pursuing it. You're the only thing that's holding, yourself back. So why not just go for it? And even now, I'm still treading lightly when it comes to music, but the only way to break out of that shell is to just do it. So Predestined has definitely opened that door of like, wow, I can do this, and I did it. And now I'm pursuing it, and I'm getting more confident in myself. I think just kind of forcing yourself to get out of that habit and to stop holding yourself back, because we get in our own way a lot, and I do that a lot. So I feel like that just kind of showed me like, you can do this. And now I'm getting more confident and I'm pursuing it. So yeah.
Well, I can definitely share with if you were getting casted as a lead, then someone has confidence in your abilities. So you definitely should have confidence, but it is not uncommon for actors to feel that way. I think it's both a blessing and a curse. I think it helps keep you humble, which I think is important, but humble and hungry, because you always feel like I can do better than this.
Yeah.
And I think that that's good. But as you say, sometimes you get in your own way. But remember that if you're getting casted as a lead, somebody has confidence in your
Yes.
abilities. Shalisha, let's ask you. So what about now? You play Jessica on the show. So what about Jessica drew you to that character?
Hmm. It was a few things, but one of the first things that definitely attracted me to her was just how positive she was and how caring she was. Jessica has a very gentle heart, very, very gentle for almost any and everyone. It can maybe come off just a tad bit naive, like just how gentle and open she is. But I really admired that in her. So that was really nice to explore that gentle kind of kid-like behavior she has. So definitely her kindness definitely attracted me to her. Made it very, very interesting to kind of play with.
Now, is that different from characters that you normally play, or would you say, is that like a departure, or is that more is that similar to other type characters that you've played in the past?
Hmm. No, sir, not similar at all. I've played many different things. I've played a man before. I played a boy before. I usually play more raunchy, more grungy roles. More like I'm the mean girl. I'm rude. I'm rude today. Like more so that. I don't really come across a lot of the nice, more like kid-like kindness kind of character like Jessica. So, and even though people may think, oh yeah, you look like you would, but no, I don't. I don't. So it was really relieving to play someone like
And that I think that's what's great about these independent productions, is because you get more of an opportunity to play against, your, play against type. And so I think that it's great that you got an opportunity to do that. How about you, Shantrell? What attracted you to your character Talia?
I think the biggest attraction to Talia was the challenge. like really getting to know this character and embodying that hard exterior, because Talia, she's really a sweetheart and she's very down to earth when you dig deep. And I think another character in the show, Devin, shows that side of Talia. So you get to see she's actually a sweetheart. She has a really rough exterior. Obviously, she's been through a lot, as you get to know in the show, with, you know, her mom and the church and everything. So I think kind of finding that balance was what attracted me to her. I'm like, wow, she's actually down to earth and sweet. I like that. But she's rough on the outside. And that challenge made me want to embody her. So kind of her balance and her two different personalities is what really attracted me to the character itself.
So, as you were describing your character, what I was also thinking about is what a feeling it must be to start something, be able to, you know, see it through, and then to be able to see other people's reaction to your work. So this is a little bit of a departure here, but uh, can you guys talk to me about what has the experience been as your family and your friends have seen this? What has this been like? I'll start with you, Aaron.
I mean, experience has been good. I mean, as I told Shantrell before, I said I'm sick of Predestined because I done watched it about a million times. Because I edited the show, so you know I watched it about 1,000,001 times. So when it was out, I have not went on the app and watched it like since it's been out. It's because like I put it together, so I don't watch it. But the response has been really good. The response has been really, really, really well. It has been a long process of putting the show together. We went through so many hurdles and ups and bumps, just even in the editing room. And I have to give a major shout out to Jerry Summer, who was my DP on the project. He had a lot of input as well as come to editing. And as you're a filmmaker yourself, so you know sometimes you need a second eye when it comes down to editing. You know, because you may see something and you like, I don't know if it's all the way there. You know, you need somebody else. Like, no, that ain't all the way there. So, but other than that, the response has been great. It's been great. It's been really well.
And Shalisha, how about you? What has now you said you used the phrase earlier, hometown cred. So how has your hometown reacted as they've become aware and have seen this project?
Ooh, it's really gotten a lot of just positive feedback. Once I had posted it on my Facebook, a lot of people share it, and now whenever I'm out, I swear to you, whenever I'm out, and let's just say I'm at the store or something, and someone's like, look at me, like, oh, you look familiar. Do I know you? And I'm like, you probably don't, but you probably see me on Facebook or something like that. And usually that's 9 times out of 10 where they've seen me. But literally, yes. But no, yeah, it's really all been very positive. Super duper supportive. Like random people I barely even know. I'm so proud of you. You're following your dreams. I'm very proud. I'm like, thanks. I really appreciate that. It's really kind. But no, it's all have been just tremendously, extremely positive.
Well, that's good to hear. How about you, Shantrell?
I mean, my name isn't even Shantrell anymore. It's Talia. At this point, it's Talia. I should just change my name because that's all I hear these days is Talia, Talia, Talia. The love and support has been crazy. It's been so amazing. I love my friends. They all support me and they're proud of me and they're like, listen, girl, I'm streaming your music. I'm streaming that bad for you. And then family as well. Now, I told Aaron this too. Talia is a little bit of an edgy character. She gets a little revealing, you know, she's a little bit almost, you know. And my grandmother, you know, I grew up with my grandma in the Baptist church, you know, church Wednesdays, Sundays, Saturday night sometimes. Like, you know, I grew up like that. And so when I showed her the trailer of Predestined and let her hear some of the music, she was like, now, baby, I think we're going to... I think we're gonna have to cover up some things because you ain't leaving nothing to the imagination. I'm like, Grandma, it's okay. That's not me. That's a character. That's Talia. So I think kind of easing my grandma into the show has been hilarious. And just that whole side of the family, it's just been so funny and so fun. But majority, pretty much all of the feedback has just been so positive, so amazing. Everybody's so supportive. And like I said, my name's Talia now, so got to get used to that.
There you go. Just to take a quick little break here, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Quintasia podcast, and we are talking with the series creator and some of the cast members of the show, Predestined. Having a great time here learning about this show. And by the way, Aaron, tell people how they can see the show.
Well, everybody, you can go to your app store on your cell phone, y'all. It's so easy. Go to your app store. If you got an iPhone, go to your if you got an Android, go to your Play Store. Just type in Predestined and the app will pop up and you can download it. It's stocked with not only the first season, but it's stocked with music videos. It's stocked with a whole like 13-part mini docuseries of how we put this show together during COVID. A lot of interviews from the cast and ones that worked on the show. So yeah, y'all can go ahead and download it. Yeah.
Well, there you have it. Now I'm curious. So you decided now to put this show in an app. Um, what made you go through that route? I wouldn't say that that's not a non-traditional route, because I think more and more creators are doing things like that. What made you choose that route?
Um, I would actually agree and say it's very like non-traditional, because there's only one show that I knew that did it, and that was The Chosen. You know, for them to have an app, and that's for solely just for a TV show. But originally, it wasn't going on an app. We had like other plans of distribution for the show, and even in like the early stages of like. You know, the early stages, we had like a distribution company come and it was just like, hey, you know, we would like to, you know, X, Y, and Z. And I was just like, I don't know. I was like, you know, we still trying to figure out other options, like as far as what we want to do. And we was just like, well, why not do an app? Because we had so much of content, not even just the episodes, but we had the music videos, we had all the behind the scenes stuff. Like, you know, we documented the whole process of putting the show together. And we were just like, well, you know, if this go on X, Y, and Z platform, we're not going to be able to use all of this footage that we got. You know, we want to put it in a place where it's easy for everybody to get to. So we was just like, let's do an app. So it was a process because the app took a minute to build. Like it took a couple of months to, you know, get it to where it is now. Yeah, that's pretty much what triggered us to put it on the app.
See, folks, don't sleep on independent entertainment here. A lot of creative creators out there figuring out we're going to figure out a way to get content to you. You know, no one's going to stop us from being able to bring our ideas forth. Now, one of the things, and I you know, before we do our taping, I always have a pre-interview with our guests. You know, and I sat back and I thought about it. When you're in the middle of something, you don't often have the perspective or the time to think about what is the impact of what you have done, and you know who, you know how this, by the very fact that this project exists, you know, people's lives are going to be changed. And this is not, you know, hyperbole or, you know, being over dramatic. I believe it's going to be a statement of fact. People's lives are going to be changed either by being a part of this project or by seeing this project. How does that, you know, how does that make you feel? And what do you want people, what's the one thing that you want people to come away with about this show? I will, who wants to go first? Aaron's
I'll go
pointing it.
first.
Okay, Shantrell.
So I think the main takeaway, at least from even just the feedback that I've gotten, you know, what most people have taken away from the show is, first of all, from Talia's perspective, definitely try to understand people more, try to be more understanding of people in your life. Because a lot of people in Talia's life in the show are hard on Talia. They have this perception of her from her music or just from her past, and only really a few or two characters out of the show really try to understand Talia. And so a lot of people were like, wow, I need to be more understanding just in life in general and the people around me. I need to take that into account. And also just being more present in the moment. I mean, with Jessica, she went through a lot in the show as well. Paying attention to the people in your life. They may be going through things that they're not speaking on, but if you take a moment to notice it, which viewers of the show can see, it's pretty obvious what Jessica was going through, that she was going through something at least. If you pay more attention to the people in your life, you'll be able to see that. I think it's a lot of different things to take away from the show, a lot of different aspects of the show, the musical aspect of the show, the storyline of the show. There's something for everyone to take from it, of all age groups, all age ranges, whether you're deep in the church, whether you're far out of the church, there's something for you in Predestined for sure.
Oh, well said. Well said.
That's right. Yeah.
Shalisha?
Yes. So definitely to piggyback off of Shantrell, which was definitely beautifully said. I just want to add to that. One thing that people can take away from this is addressing your pain and coming face to face with your pain. One thing that this pandemic has taught everyone, it slowed a lot of people down. It slowed a lot of people down to really look at your circumstance, whether that be what you got going on within yourself, the people around you, or whatever. It really gave a lot of people time to reevaluate a lot of things. And in the show, a lot of people are dealing with internal pain, whether they're running from it or just going deep into the church where they don't have to address it. But I definitely, one thing for sure is address your pain, come face to face with it, and deal with it before it deals with you.
Oof, yes.
So that's what I say, Brother Greg.
Also, well said. Well said. See, it's great when you have casts like this that can get out there and represent as well as Talia and Jessica.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, I don't know if I can't follow that. They just said a mouthful. I can't follow that. I'm just agreeing. Yep.
Yep, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. Well, I really thank you guys for stopping by and getting a chance to talk with you all. My heartfelt and sincerest congratulations to you, and we're pulling for season 2. We want you guys to continue. So for people who come across this podcast, how you can help shows like this and other independent shows is show your support, show some love. Go out there, download that app, and get the show. If you want to see one of the things that sorry, I'm going to preach again right now. One of the things that one of the messages and one of the reasons why we're doing this podcast is I want us, and by us I mean people of color, to get away from the mindset that we need permission to create. We have all the money we need to fund our businesses.
Absolutely.
What we need to do is change our mindset. See, we have a poor people's mindset. We're the richest poor people in the world. If other poor people had the resources that we had, they would kill for it. And we just need to make better resources of what's available. So we don't need to wait for anyone. And if you want to see something different on TV, then you have to fund it. You have to support it. That's how it will exist. If you want it, it will exist. So that's my pitch for those of you who come across this. Please support Aaron, please support Shantrell, please support Shalisha, and please support Predestined. So thank you so much, guys, for stopping by. It has been a pleasure. Stay in touch, and we definitely want to hear from you. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Gregory Q. Jenkins, and you have been listening and/or watching the Quintasia podcast. Thank you very much, and on behalf of our guests, Bye for now, and hope to see you again soon. Take care.